Let's talk about the Ace VR or Ace XR system for the Oculus. This is a gun game simulator that I've been playing around with for a little while now. A lot of people in the shooting world, a lot of very high level shooters that I have a lot of respect for, are using this and finding it pretty good. So I jumped at it, and we're just going to talk about my thoughts and my experiences here. First, though, rundown of what this is. So Ace XR is a USPSA, Steel Challenge, IPSEC, and PCSL simulator. They may add other gun games to this system as it goes on, and there's new stages that you can shoot on this game. Seems like weekly. But for right now, those are the primary games that are the focus of this. This is a simulator for those games. There are other modes that you can play in this that just make this more of either a video game or a interactive dry fire aid. And most of those games look like something like simulating. There's a simulated pew view range in the game that you can just go plink on, and you have a virtual shot timer on your virtual waistband that you can use to run drills there. There are immersive shooting experiences that let you see as if you're in your own home. You can see the furniture and stuff in your house, and Ace will project targets at various size and different locations in your house for you to shoot. Guys, that sounds really cool. It does. I was excited about that feature when I got this. That one is actually the lamest, like dumbest thing on the game. Maybe it is my play area, but even walking through my house, when this is projecting targets, it does feel a little laggy as I'm moving around the play area. The targets are projected really random areas, which I think diminishes its training value. I may have a target on a far wall, and then I hear the little swoosh sound of another target generating, and it might be right behind me, like on the ceiling, like directly on the ceiling. Um, can it be fun? Sure. I think that just about every other video game that I've ever played is a lot more fun than that. There's other stuff in there, like on one of the simulated ranges, you can shoot targets that are being flown around by drones, and some other fun stuff that are like less gun game related content. But the real the real steak and potatoes of this game is to simulate like shooting game stages, like USPSA style stages, and it does that very well. The I believe the 2024 nationals stages are still up to shoot on this simulator. Those are fun, and there's many other USPSA, PCSL, Steel Challenge stuff stages that you can run in there. That is great for someone like me. I used to shoot a lot more competition, live fire competition. I could never shoot as much live fire competition as I wanted to, even when before kids, when my schedule was more open. Just the nature of my area, I could only really shoot one serious match a month, and everything else was going to be kind of like rinky-dink local matches at cramped, poor ventilation indoor ranges, where no matter what match I'm going to, where I am, there's always something like 50 shooters. Um, Everyone is just standing around waiting for long, long periods of time. It was a big waste of a day. If I wanted to go even to like a large match, a well organized match here in Colorado, where I am, that meant a 2 hour drive, and then help set up stages and manage all of that. You're shooting. You're standing around waiting to shoot from like 8 o'clock in the morning until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The stages that you do shoot, all day's shooting experience, you're going to shoot like 200 rounds max, and you're going to shoot for 60 seconds for an entire workday, and then it's a 2-hour drive back home, and then unload all your crap. And like, it just never made sense. Even if those matches were free, it just never made sense to waste that much time doing that. Not dogging on you guys that are all about that life. Props to you. It was never a value for me. I wanted to play the games, but the time suck was too much. And with only being able to shoot, once or twice a month for 60 seconds cumulatively at a time, that is not enough reps to understand the game theory behind anything. You can read the rule book 1,000 times. You can look at the shot timer. At the end of a stage, you can just see your total times. Maybe if your RO set is excellent and you have a very small range, you might have time to grab that timer and just click through briefly and see your splits on any given stage. But most of the time, it's a no-go because they got to get the next shooter on the line so that they can wrap up the day before the sun goes down. So you're shooting live fire. You're not able to see your splits. You're not able to evaluate your performance in real time. And it's hard to understand the scoring when everything is just kind of like quickly jotted down on a piece of paper or on the little tablet, and you're shown your hit factor. 10 seconds to evaluate your performance, and then off to wait for another 3 hours or something. This gets around that. This is an excellent tool for learning the theory of gun games, because I can take a single stage, I can take 10 seconds to boot the game up, get this in my hand, and I can run a single stage 100 times back to back. I can run every iteration of different tweaks in movement, in shot pace, in leaning different barricades. I can do all of that experimentation, and every single rep I can sit there for as long as I want, and the game will show me each individual split time, my time to first shot, and it'll tell me how I stacked up to my best run. That data alone, for someone who wants to get into competitive shooting, that's worth it. Like, that is worth $350 for the first year, and it's well worth $150 for all of the next years that you are still learning the theory of those games. I believe that so much that in trying to shoot matches for the past, I don't know, more than 20 years. Yeah, that adds up. Roughly right about 20 years now. 8 weeks I've been on this system. I have 85,000 rounds fired, a little more than that, but 85K through virtual rounds fired on stages in this simulation environment. And I have learned more about every single one of these gun games, the scoring, and how to do better in those games in those 8 weeks than in my entire life combined. I'm not really gaining a whole lot in learning how to shoot better. But let's be real, guys. If you're learning how to shoot, the actual physical process of shooting, nothing's really going to beat live fire. And if you're at the level where you're able to care about the higher levels of game theory and stage efficiency, you probably don't have any issues with your draw time, your split times. You don't have any conscious thought when it comes to recoil mitigation. Those things are already hammered into your being at a level of automaticity. So this system is probably not going to help you with that. A lot of people will will tell me that they've bought this because the remote is such a close replicant or replica of their actual gun. I have the P365 X Macro controller here, and I'll tell you that for dry fire gizmos, this one feels more real, or as real as something like the CERT. And the weight is good. Uh, the actual print and the texturing of it is fine. But I don't really care, guys. Like, a blue gun doesn't need to be super precisely matching my carry gun for me to find value in it. The trigger on this, none of the triggers on any of these guns are adjustable. You get what you get. But I'll say that the trigger on this is close enough to my 365X that I carry to transfer over and work well. I don't see a huge adjustment necessary when I pick up the real gun and do dry fire with it. I also don't see a big adjustment when I go pick up my Glock 19 after shooting this either. It doesn't really matter that much though, guys. It doesn't. People obsess over it. That's not the primary perk of this system. So does it look cool? Yes. Does it feel good in your hand? It feels like a real gun. Yeah, close enough. All of these triggers are like a 3-ish pound or less trigger. So all of them are going to be way on the competition end of triggers. And for what you're doing with this thing, I think that's actually probably ideal. You can do a little bit of tuning as to when the shot breaks, but you can't actually move like the take up or the wall or the over travel on this. It is what it is. So that doesn't matter. It does, what does matter for me for an actual applied shooting performance thing is, and this is beyond the game theory portion of it. So we're talking about getting better at just shooting guns in any kind of environment. The amount of reps that you get on good visual processing when you're using this system is better than any dry fire aid that I've found. It is probably a little bit better than live fire when the game is running optimally. I say that because just in the time that it takes me to drive to the range, I can shoot 1,500 rounds of virtual ammo in this. So like good quality reps, I can just get so many more of them. And being in the virtual environment with, a bermed range and targets set up, never having to reload a gun, not having to pick up brass or set up targets. That's nice. Like it feels nice. The environment is immersive enough where it kind of gets you in the feel of actually shooting on a range. And the visual processing is great because of that. So I think I touched on this earlier, but while this doesn't really get you the exact trigger press that you have on your gun, and it doesn't get you exactly the feel of your gun in your hand, that's not necessary. Like if you're at the level of shooting where you're going to make a big leap, that's like the middle of the pack area for people who shoot. All of the skills that you are learning to get from the middle of the pack to the top of the pack, those are skills in visual processing, in seeing quickly and being able to take what you see and very quickly and precisely make small adjustments on the fly while you're running a trigger. None of that is how you hold a gun. None of that is how you mitigate recoil. None of that is, the perfect trigger press. Everything, gained skill-wise to get to the top, it's just see faster and turn that faster sight into precision action. And this system does it better than anything else that I've found. So I was really rough on these guys when I heard everyone talking about it. I said, $350? You got to be freaking kidding me. If I had to do it over again today, I would. It is worth it. If you are a shooter that still needs to learn how to grip a gun right to keep it from shifting in your hand under recoil, if you're still losing the dot in recoil, this ain't going to help you fix those problems. Those are problems that need to be hammered out in live fire. It is the way that it is that for that issue, or all of those physical hands-on issues. But if you're a shooter that you can already control the gun, you can find the dot on every presentation, but you just need to learn how to move your ass, which is most shooters who show up to a class. That's what they need to know, to learn most, is like how much time they're just wasting doing nothing instead of focusing in, seeing faster, and applying that. This is a great tool for that, guys. So yeah, I don't want to make the video too long. I think we're already too long. That's my thoughts on the Ace XR. I will leave you guys with some footage from this. If you guys end up getting one of these and you want to meet up in the virtual range that's there, there's a multiplayer option. I don't hide my data. I'm on there as Rhett, R-H-E-T-T. That's all there is to the username. You can search me, and maybe we can whatever. Maybe we'll make a Demonstrated Concepts Ace XR group, and we can shoot together in there. But yeah, if you like this stuff, you want to see more Ace content, let me know, guys. Leave a comment. All right, Rat's Nest, one of my favorite stages. I like the ports. I like the Polish plate rack and the transition from near to far. I like the Texas Star, even though it eats me up and I never seem to run it the same way twice. So yeah, we'll give it a shot. This is one of those stages that I have found that some people are just disregarding the barrier entirely. So all you got to do is that, and you can do one of those and then run the rest of the stage without the visual barrier. But here's how I like to shoot it.
Stand by.
Yeah, that plate rack beats me up every time. But yeah, not a great run for me, but there it is. Yeah, mics. All right.